I run a program that addresses all kinds of safety concerns, violence prevention, ways that people can hopefully feel a little safer. There is no one thing that I can tell all of you. I wish there was. Do this and you will feel safe no matter where you go, who you talk to, any situation. There is no magic wand. What we found, though, is there's lots of little things that, particularly as we age, we either forget that we can do that or haven't practiced that in a while. Because, as, at least for me, and I'm aging, I feel more vulnerable. I know I can't run as fast as I used to. Can anybody still run as fast as they used to be able to? Raise your hands if you can run fast. Right? We don't run so fast.
No.
Right? So some of the things we used to do, we can't do anymore. Right? Some of the places we used to go or want to go, we don't always go anymore. So when we think about being safe, there's two ways that we like to think about it in Columbus, Ohio, and in the program I run. So we talk about self-defense. And when we talk about self-defense, we say, our definition is any time you've made a decision to keep yourself emotionally, your heart, or your body safe. So let's just think about that for a minute. Do you all have cell phones? Yes? Yes, most of you have cell phones. Some of you have cell phones. Do you have peekaboo things in your doors?
Yeah, no.
Yes, no, some do, some don't. Great. So if you would get a phone call from somebody and you don't recognize the number, and you're not in the mood to find out, and you choose not to answer it, you've just done self-defense. Okay? Because you've thought at that moment more about you than about them. So think about that for a second, because we're always used to thinking about how does the other person feel? I don't want to be mean. I don't want people to think I'm nasty, crotchety old lady kind of thing. Well, maybe that's just what I think. So I'm worried about that. I don't want to come off like that. But as we interact with our environment and each other, sometimes it doesn't matter, right? They're strangers. What does it matter? So we get to think about ourselves first when we're talking about safety. Does that sound selfish to anybody? No? Good. It used to, for me, when I was younger. Now it feels better. Right? So I'm going to back up a little bit and ask, because you all are so willing and able to come, to ask a couple questions about your safety concerns and what kinds of things that are happening or that you read about or that you've seen a movie about or somebody's told you that concern you in terms of your safety, your personal safety. Because you've got the newspaper, you've got the TV, you've got the radio, you've got people telling you, guess what happened here? Did you know about this person down the street? Did you know that somebody in the apartment down the way had something bad happen to them? I don't know what it is you hear, but we hear things, right? So what are some of the things that, when you think about safety, you think about? And anybody can tell me. Panhandlers, okay? So panhandlers is a safety concern for some people. What else? Scams. Scams are I'm a scam target. Big, right? Good, what else? Fraud. Financial, personal fraud, identity theft, that kind of thing? Great, okay. What else?
lady over there say falling?
She said fraud.
Oh, fraud. Okay.
Yes, falling is another one. That's
my main one.
okay. I don't do slip, strips, and falls, but I can talk about that in terms of safety. Okay? What else? That's it? Okay, we can do that. Let me just ask you another question, though. Anybody have relatives? Raise your hand if you have a relative. A relative. Somebody that knows you by blood or close association from somewhere. Everybody has one or so, right? Is your relationship with all of them just really wonderful? How's your relationships with all the people that you know? Great? Anybody have anybody in their life that you feel like might be taking advantage of you a little bit? Just nod your heads. You don't have to say their name. All right, I have one. I have a 21-year-old granddaughter. She knows my number. She can get me like this. She can convince me to pay for this, go here, get her this, go out of my way to do something for her because she's working and I'm not, right? She can get me to do that. I practice self-defense with her all the time. Does that sound weird? No? Right. What do I have to do to make sure that I am not getting taken advantage of just because I love her?
Say no.
Right? Say no. Do you know how hard that has been for 18 years? I've been having to practice that. When she calls me on the phone, I don't always answer. Actually, I rarely answer now. I call her back after I've done some breathing and after I've had some time to think about it and I know what I'm going to say. Because she's so good at what she does. She's much better than I am at saying no or not now or maybe. Anybody have relatives like that? Anybody have a relative that's ever taken advantage of you? You're lucky, because I still got some, and I can learn some lessons from you. So when we talk about safety, we're also talking about who are we threatened by. So the reality is that most of us tend to be threatened by strangers, right? That's the part that gives us a funny feeling. I see a panhandler, somebody I don't recognize in the building, somebody that looks different than what I'm used to seeing. Our suspicion comes up, is that correct? So automatically then what happens when your awareness comes up? Can anybody tell me what you do differently once you're aware, more aware? Is there any behavior you do differently? Do you ask them their name? Do you tell somebody there's a stranger in the building? Or do you go into your apartment and shut the door? What do you do? One person needs to tell me one thing. So if I was a stranger walking through this building, you all would just let me walk around?
It's what we do.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. Because most people do that. We're familiar. Where we live is where we want to feel safe.
That's what we feel.
Okay? And it's really important to feel safe where we live. So there's lots of precautions that this residence has done to make it feel safe. But can you tell me, I'm not picking on anybody that works here, can you tell me that every single person that's in this building is checked in? That the desk or whoever knows who they are? Can you say yes? Is that true? I'm going to venture to guess no. Not because they're not doing a good job, but because we're human beings and we forget to do things and we don't always have a way of protecting. I am not also saying that anybody walking through this building is going to come to your door and hurt you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we make a lot of assumptions because we live here. We're safe here. We're familiar with it. So when something weird happens, we don't always pay attention because we're in our house. Where I bet you all, when you go out, you pay a little bit more attention, don't you? Like, who goes to the grocery store? Anybody go to the grocery store?
What did she say? We have 3 meals a day here.
Do you ever go out of the building? Do you ever go out of the building? Yes, right? And do you always go in a group?
Yes. No.
Oh, no, yes. Where do you go?
CVS.
CVS. Okay, where else do you go?
Restaurant.
I'm sorry?
Restaurant.
To a restaurant? Where else do you go?
Get gas.
To get gas. Where else do you go?
Shopping.
Shopping. Thank goodness. I was worried about y'all. Shopping. Anybody ever go to the doctor? Okay. So we do, we, me, we, us, they. We go out, right? You always feel when you go out, do you do anything differently than when you're hanging out at home? Behavior. Do you do anything differently? Do you take a bigger purse or a smaller purse? Do you have a phone or not have a phone? Does anybody know where you are and when you're supposed to be back?
We're supposed to sign out.
You're supposed to sign out so that somebody knows where you went. How many people do that 100% of the time? I'm moving here. You make safety and security people really, really happy. Because where I'm come from, they don't always do it. Okay? Or they don't sign back in. Because you got to come in really fast, you got to pee, and you got to go really fast, and you forget. Right? So then people are looking for you all over. But those are safety and security kinds of things, so that people know where you are, when you're expected back, who you're with. Those are great. Keep doing those. But you do go to CVS, you do go to a restaurant, you do go to a doctor's office, you do go to a movie, you do go get gas, you do go outside. So we're going to start with the easier ones to talk about, which is strangers. So if you're walking, if you're getting gas, if I can ask you a question, right? And somebody's at the gas station and they start talking to you, what do? Okay. So, can I be somebody at the gas station?
Sure.
What's your name?
Jane.
Okay. So, Jane and audience, I am no longer me right this minute. I am a stranger that Jane does not know. Hence the skies. So, you're getting gas. Would you come in the middle? Would you mind? If you mind. Okay, great. So let's give Jane a hand, right? Okay. You're good. You're good. Let's come up here a little bit so everyone can see. And I just want you to do what you would normally do. Okay, so you're pumping gas, right? Or is someone pumping it for you?
Sure.
Which one? Are you pumping it yourself?
I'll pump.
Okay, go ahead. Pump your gas.
Okay.
Excuse me. My kid is in the hospital and I ran out of gas. Do you have some money? I need about $5 to fill my tank up. I've got to go get my kid. My wife's down south. My kid's in the hospital. Can you give me $5?
No.
What do you mean, no? Have you ever had children?
Yeah.
Okay, so what if they were in the hospital? Wouldn't you want someone to help you out? Please, I need $5.
I wouldn't believe you, probably.
What do you mean you don't believe me? I have a sick kid. You're not going to give me $5?
No.
I know you have it. You're just like a wicked old lady, right?
Right, absolutely.
You know what? People like you is what makes the world really a rotten place. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, very good. So, thank you. That was it. So, a couple things. What did you notice about what Jane did?
She was firm.
She was very clear in her voice. right?
Yes.
What else?
She meant what she said,
She meant what she said. And how could you tell that?
because she didn't change it.
She didn't change it. She looked me in the eye. She was standing up straight. She did not move her feet. She was like a rock standing there, like, okay. Those were all really great things. Something I might suggest or ask you to look at is, how close did I get to Jane?
Very close.
Very close. Now this may be a really comfortable distance for you. If it is, that's terrific. For somebody I don't know, when I'm pumping gas at the gas station in the rain, this is too close for me. Right? So we go with, if they're not close enough to touch you, it's harder for them to hurt you. So I'm going to ask you to, and we're all going to learn this, I'm going to ask you to do something a little bit differently this time. So this time I want you to put one foot behind the other and just put both hands up like this. All right, so here's your boundary, right? So can I put my hand on your?
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
So this goes here. This goes here. Bring that one foot out of that one. Now, you can do the same thing when I come up to you, except you're going to do this. So you're pumping gas and you have to come back. I'm coming back. I don't take no for an answer. Excuse me, I really need help. I need bus money. I have to get to the hospital. My kid's in the hospital. Can you help me? I need like $3. Can you give me $3? Please give me $3.
No.
Put your hands up. Yeah, they get rid of the other.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There. Okay.
And hands up.
Hands up, just like this. Like this, like this. One in front of you. Like a stop sign.
Okay.
A little lower. Doesn't matter. Right in here. There you
Okay.
go, right there. No more, no more. Please, I need $3.
No more.
I need $3. My kid is, I gotta get to them on the bus and all kinds of things. Keep your hands up. Please, can you give it to me? Please, please, I would do it for you. Please. Okay, so don't move. Look how much further away I am from her. Okay? Hurry up. I'm not gonna do this. People don't do this. I'm gonna walk into your hand, okay? Is that okay?
Sure.
So I'm not going to walk into somebody's hand. We don't do that. We're social beings. We try and respect a physical boundary. Okay? So we're going to work on that piece just a little bit. Thank you, Jane. You did a very good job. Okay? So yes, I wasn't a very good, desperate person today, but so because we are all human beings, and we all really are nice, and we care about people, we can easily be fooled. Sometimes being fooled's okay. You know, if that's happened to me, that exact gas station has happened more than once, and at the same gas station, and I consistently do exactly the same thing, which is give the person $3. Because I'm a sucker, and it's okay. It's okay for me to do that. I don't have to. I'm not telling you to. I just do. But I don't let them get that close to me when I'm giving them $3. I don't care if it's a woman or a man or a child or a teenager or anybody else. I don't want somebody that close. Which is one of the awarenesses that we need to have when we're thinking about being safe. How close do people get to us? So, how aware are you all of how close people get to you before it feels uncomfortable? Do you know how close it's okay? Excuse me? Very aware. So, Doris,
Like this. Look at this way.
so I'm right here.
Yeah.
Is this okay?
What do you want?
I want you to take my survey. I got a survey
I don't
about,
have time for that.
I got a survey about
I
how,
don't have time.
well, you know what? If you don't take the survey, I'm not gonna get paid. If I don't get paid, then I'm not gonna be able to feed my
I'm sorry,
kids.
but I don't have time.
Just one more signature, that's all I need. I really just need one more signature. I'm not gonna leave until you give me a signature.
Well, I'm not gonna sign it.
Okay, so we can stand forever because I have no place else to go.
Well, I'm sorry for you.
Okay. Don't be sorry, just sign my petition. So far, we could keep going here, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not that mean.
I had a phone call, and this person said, "Hello, Doris." I said, "Who's calling?" So there's some kind of jabbering on the end of the line, so I know it's a hoax. And so I said, "Look, you don't know me, I don't know you, and I don't want to know you, and I'm going to hang up," which I did.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. That's exactly right. You did the right answer. That was self-defense. Okay, that's totally self-defense. So in that situation, if I really wanted to rob her, to take her purse, to find out more about her, I, as the bad person, I have much more patience than she does. Okay? I do this for a living. I'm a bad guy or girl for a living. Whether it's to feed a drug habit or feed my family, this is what I know how to do. So I know how to wait until this person tries to leave. And if I haven't made them leave, I'm more vulnerable. So we don't want to be more vulnerable. We want to be less vulnerable. So, and this is where we get into our feelings with strangers. So I'm going to ask you all to stand up right where you are. If you feel like it, if you don't feel like it, don't do it. This is all about choice. So particularly those of you who always use your walker, also I want you to have your hands on your walker the way you would have your hands wherever they are. So what I want you to do right from here, even with your apparatus, is I want you to spread your feet a little bit so that you're shoulder width apart, just one shoulder. And just so feel like loose and relaxed. Your hands are free. We want our hands free, right, as much as possible. Hands are free because we don't know. We might get to use them for some other way. We don't know. Now what I want you to do is just put one foot in front of the other. That's all. You're just still like you're walking. You walk like this. That's all we're doing. Walking, 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 walking. Standing, standing. Now, what I want those of you who are not on using walkers to make sure your hands are really loose, like spaghetti. Put them up like this. One hand, the foot that's in front is a little further away. This hand is right here close to your heart. Our backs are as straight as they can possibly. Look how much taller everybody got. We are tall now. We are breathing. Okay? So I want everyone to say hello on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hello. It lets me know you're breathing, right? So these is really soft. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to face a partner. Just turn and face somebody next to you. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. You two face each other. You two face each other. I'll be with you. Everybody have a partner. You two come be with each other. Can you come over here? Good. Okay. So now, okay, you're great. Can you make your back straight? A little bit straight. Yes. Okay. So body language is what bad people pay attention to. 80% of our communication is nonverbal. So people are sizing us up, right? So one of you decide to drop your hands, okay? The other person, you're going to be in your stop sign position. People with walkers, can you let go with one hand? Okay, not both, but one. If you still feel solid with one hand. If you don't, don't. If you feel solid with one hand, do that. You don't need to hold it. Now, everyone decide how we're going to do this. We're going to decide who's A, everybody decide who's A, and who's B? You decide in your pair. Do you want to work with me? Okay. Decide who's A and who's B.
You want to be A or B?
I want everybody who's A to raise your hand. All my A's, raise your hand. So there's only one A per pair, right? Okay, good. A's, you're going to be not so nice to your partner. No. No hitting, punching, kicking, spitting, none of that. No physical anything. We are just going to be not so nice. So if not, so we're going to say like, hey, I want to talk to you for a minute. Come here, I really need to talk to you. We can say that. You can say, can you give me some money? You can also say, what's your name? You can also say, if you don't want to say something mean, you can go, blah, blah, blah. Right? Just be enforceful, nasty. So the A's, we are nasty. We are blah, blah, blah. Okay? B's, I want you to get a little bit of distance from your partner, a little bit further away, so you're not standing quite so close. I'm your partner. So here's what we're going to do. Again, we're just playing. We're playing, okay? We're playing. Nobody's going to hurt each other. Nobody's touching each other. So the A's are going to be blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. And the B's are going to pretend, if they're not, feeling like, what the heck? Why? I don't want this anymore. I'm done here. I don't want to talk to this person. So when that happens, you're going to put your hands up, and you're going to say this sentence. Everybody say it with me. Please go away. Ready, go. Please go away. Now let's say it a little bit louder. Please go away. Now let's say it one octave louder. Go. Please go away. So here's what I'm telling you. If you're on the street and you say that to somebody, you know what they're going to do? Go away. And or other people are going to go, what's the matter? Right? But if we go, please go away. Okay? So, A's, we are going to be creepy. Okay, we're going to be the creepy people. We're going to kind of try and give our partner a funny feeling. We know we all love each other. We're just playing. So I'm going to say start, and whenever B's you feel like enough is enough, you're going to put your stop signs up, and A's, you're not going to respond unless they really mean it. So you're going to go, nah. They may have to say it again. You get to decide how convincing they are. Okay, so there will be equal sharing. So everybody knows what you're going to do. A's, you're going to be kind of slimy and creepy. B's, you're going to be able to put up your stop signs. Use your voice, keep your shoulders up. You are not this. You're not go away. Okay, we're not doing that. No, not this class, that's another class. We're not doing that. So, all right, A's, we're going to be creepy. B's, you're going to have to say, please go away, or go away until they actually would maybe go. Okay? Ready? Go. Hey, lady, I need to talk to you. You know what? I think you borrowed some money from me or my brother a couple times. Go away. I just need my money and then I'll go. Can you take one hand off? Can you take one hand off? You can't? Okay.
I don't have any money. Go away.
Say it really loud.
Go away.
Okay, sorry. Jeez. Right? So she was convincing, right? Go away. I would make my partner work a little bit harder. We're not done. You can sit down for a second, but we're going to have to practice both sides here. Okay? So, it's hard in this setting to really be serious, and it's fun. And what's important, two things are important about why I want you to practice. One is I want us to remember how close is too close. How close is too close? And we forget. I forget I'm short, I need to get closer to hear somebody. My hearing's not so good. I got to get closer to hear somebody. I want to know what they're talking about. I got to get closer to hear somebody. I'm not suggesting you never get close to anybody. But when somebody's saying, give me your money, you don't want to move closer. Okay? Unless you're dating. That's a whole other story. Inside joke. So we want to make sure that we can set a boundary and that we can be loud. Because being loud attracts attention. Being loud attracts other people. Being loud lets that person know that you are not fragile, you are not that vulnerable, you do have some skills, and you can attract attention so that other people will come. Okay? So being soft does you no good in this situation. Being demure, being appropriate, proper, don't do that. Don't do any of that. Be like somebody you saw on TV. Go away! Right? Right.
I don't think I could do that loud.
No, probably not. I have a mic. Okay. But I know we can be louder than we're used to being. Okay? We get scared, so we sometimes freeze that up, which is why talking and breathing is really important. So we're going to give the other side a turn here, okay? So the bees, you are the creepers, right? And this time I want you to say, give me some money, okay? Give me some money. A's, I'm not going to give them any, even though we may want to, we're not. So A's, what we're going to say is, leave me alone. Go away. Leave me alone. Go away. And the third time, leave me alone. Go away. You might scare yourself, but that's okay. We'll take care of it. All right? So we're going to work on getting louder. First time, certain, then a second, then a third. I don't care if you can't hear each other. Okay? It doesn't matter. You're just practicing. Okay? Has everyone got the drill? Okay? All right. So, get up. Get your partner. You can move a little bit further away from each other if you need it. We need, everybody needs a partner. Hang on. You don't have a partner. Can you two be partners? No? Can one of you move? Sure. Good, great. Dueling walkers. Were you an A or a B last time? Were you an A or a B last time? Okay. So you're going to ask her for money, right? You're going to ask her for money. Yep. Okay. All right. Everybody have a partner? You face your partner. I'll be your partner. Okay. So B's now. You don't need a partner. Come over here. One of you. You can be partners. I don't know your names. I'm sorry. Usually I go by name. All right. So raise your hand if you are the person saying, give me your money. Raise your hand if you are the person saying, give me your money. Which one of you is saying, you are? Okay. Everybody knows which. Great. Okay. That's good. Put your hands down. The other people who did not raise their hand, you are going to say what? Go away. And when you say go away, if you can make a stop sign, make a stop sign. If you can do it with one hand, that's fine. If you cannot do it, just make sure you are standing up as straight as you can and looking that person in the eye. Okay? Now wait a minute, she hasn't said anything yet. All right, so we're going to ask for money. Ready? Go. Ask for money. Ask for money. Ask her for money. Ask her for money. Ask her for money.
Take money.
Ask her for money, yeah.
Can I have some money? No. Go away.
Ask her again.
What do I say?
Ask her again.
Can I have some money? No. I don't have any. Go away.
Ask her again.
I want some money. I don't have any. Go away.
Good job. Good voice. Good. So I heard a couple people be loud and a couple people not be so loud. Go away. Look at her in the eye and tell her, go away, right? Go away. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you.
I don't want to ever see you again.
We may be escalating there, but that's okay. So, again, we like to keep it very simple. We like to add our body language because we feel more strong and we look more strong. We look like less of an easy target. The older we get, the more of a target we feel we are. We got to change the minds of those bad girls and boys out there, right? Great. You can sit down now. You can say please. You can still say please. So being assertive doesn't mean that you can't say, please leave me alone. Please go away. Please stop talking to me. Please don't touch me. Please back up. We can say please to everything. But we're saying please like, please don't do that. We want to try and avoid doing, please back up. Please leave me alone. Do you notice what my body's doing? Okay, watch my body. Please leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I don't have any money. I don't want to talk to you. I just really don't want to talk to you. I'm shrinking. I'm running. I'm backing up. I'm giving up my space. I'm letting that person know that I am afraid of them. There's nothing wrong with that, but we don't need to be afraid. They haven't done anything yet. So bad people, or people who want something from you, they're going to test you. They're going to see, oh, if I'm out for my money today, am I going to get her who can really raise her voice, or I'm going to come over here because you're not, I know you're nice and you're not going to say anything to me? Or am I going to come over here because I can convince you, because I've heard you, I've watched you, that I can convince you to sign my petition? Okay? So I don't want to get into the psychology of every perpetrator, but people who tend to do you wrong, harm, they know what they're doing. They know that they pick this person instead of that person. They know that they pick this time of day with that person and this time of day with that person. So we want to be a harder target. Just simply, we want to make them think twice or 3 times or 4 times or 5 times before they pick us. So if we walk down the street, in the grocery store, in the restaurant, at the bank, at the doctor's office, and we have no idea who has passed us by, we're more vulnerable. We need to do as best as we possibly can to keep our arms free or on our walker, our head up, our chin up, looking at people. And if we feel uncomfortable, we can stop. We can just stop and wait to see what happens. There's no law that says you got to keep walking when you're afraid. You're allowed to stop where you are and assess the situation. Any country I've ever been in, this has always meant stop. Doesn't mean that people always pay attention to it. But it's a signal to ourselves that something doesn't feel right. Does everyone know where your intuition is, where you feel it in your body? Okay. If you don't know or you haven't felt it in a while, I invite you to go on a scavenger hunt with your own feelings.
We can't hear a word you're saying.
You can't? Okay, then it wasn't that important. Okay, how's that? What part couldn't you hear? Is that better? Okay, good. Talk like this. I can't. So, wherever I was that you couldn't hear, I'm talking about being able to make eye contact, standing still, keeping your posture, and catching your breath. That's too loud. This is too soft. That's too... So,
I just want to remind Ann, who I heard her say, this doesn't happen in Santa Barbara. The very thing of $5 at the gas tank thing just happened to me on Fairview and Kyrell. I wasn't looking, and next thing a guy was right there saying, I really need $5. It does happen in Santa Barbara. And I gave it to him, of course.
and that's okay, because maybe they just wanted $5. Maybe they didn't want your purse or your body.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, in talking about this doesn't happen, they need to read on the Independent, there was quite an article of a lot of things happening last week. A lot of things.
Yeah.
Right, so if we're not going to lock ourselves in our room, we get to practice thinking about being more aware. Okay? How much time do we have?
Started at 3, a little after 4.
Okay, I just want to make sure I don't go off into the next 40 hours of information. So, we've talked about a couple things. One is our awareness. Let me know if you can't hear me, okay? We've talked about our awareness. What are we aware of when we're out? Who's there? Could we give a description of somebody? That's always a test. So you can play that game. We could have, no, we're not going to do it, but we could have somebody go out of the room right now and ask all of you who left. What were they wearing? How tall were they? How long was their hair? Mine's very long. You know, were they white? Were they black? Were they Southeast Asian? Were they Hispanic? Were they old? Were they young? Were they larger? Were they smaller? Those kinds of things are really, really, really helpful. And we don't pay attention to them very often because we don't want to. We don't want to think that everybody out there is out to hurt us, because they're not. But we do want to still be aware of them. So did you notice when you were louder, what happened to the rest of the people in this group? Anybody notice? I think the answer to that was no. Okay. I noticed that people gave a little start. Gave a little, what? I've never heard her be that loud. You know, one of those kinds of things. I've never heard that. So the power of our voice in attracting attention is incredible. It can deter assaults in 70% of the crimes that happen out in public. Okay, let me say that again. One single technique, which is using your voice. If you are loud, 70%. That's not screaming like, oh, help me! It's like, go away! So that the person crossing the street looks over and goes, what the heck? Right? Because the bad person, or the person who intends to hurt you, doesn't want to be caught. They don't want any attention. They want to get it and get out. Yeah. So if we make it harder for them, we are more likely to stay safe. Okay? So if we make it harder, not all the time, again, there's situations where but to think about it, no bad guy or girl wants to be caught, else they wouldn't be doing it. So if we can make them more catchable, we're good. So something else, that I just lost my train of thought. Space, how close people get to you, what kinds of things they're saying about you, how you stand, how you present yourself. Most of us walk around through the world, I'm going to do imitation of myself. right? Anybody walk like that? Anybody seen people walk like that? Okay. I couldn't tell you how many people were in this room walking like that because I could see nothing. I could see the ground. And as we age and we worry more about falling, we worry more about our steps, we worry more about our vulnerability, it is really natural to look this way. What can I see here? Come on, what can I see?
Feet.
I can see my feet, thank you. I can see the carpet. I can't see what's over here. I can't see what's over there. I don't know what's behind me. I have no idea. So this is a very controversial safety technique that we suggest. You take a few steps looking down and you stop. And you look around. And you take a few more looking down. And you stop and you look around. It doesn't make you later to your hair appointment. That was a joke. Somebody laugh. Okay, never mind. So we get to be in control of our body, and we get to be in control of where we put it. Okay? Let me just stop and ask for questions or contradictions to anything I've said. Questions anybody has? Stories you want to tell me? Yes?
I have a really good one because if also you're walking like this and you're looking at where you're going, if somebody is thinking of approaching you and asking for money or wanting to grab your purse or whatnot, if you're looking at them square in the eye, chances that they're going to follow through are less than if you're looking down and they can surprise you.
Again, people don't want to be seen. They don't want to be identified. They don't want to be able to tell the police for you to tell the police who it was. They want to be able to say, I don't know what happened so fast, I didn't know what happened. And that's true, it happened so fast, because we have to be looking at them. So that's pretty much that's a lot of self-awareness about strangers and situations, even in the grocery store. I'm a big space person. I don't like a lot of close-in things because I'm short and it feels crowded. So even in the grocery store, my cart is behind me. Maybe stupid, but it's what I do. And I'm behind the other person's cart. I just don't want that people close to me. So I use my cart. I use whatever I have. It's subconscious. I didn't even know I was doing it for years. I pull my grocery cart. Because I'm a bad driver, I think is why. Because I get the one with the wheels and it doesn't go very good. So I create a lot of space just because. And what I've also gotten used to is if people say you are weird, I don't care. I feel safer. Whether or not I am, I don't know, but I feel safer. So I use that. I don't care what people think. And at our age, we got to give that up, right? We don't care anymore. Except when it comes to our family. I just want to spend a couple minutes talking about our relatives and our family who we all love dearly, right? Most of us, some of us, right? So let me ask, has anybody, or our friends, our relatives, our friends, people we know, our ex-neighbors, do you have any of those people in your life that you don't always want to be with as much as they want to be with you? Do you have any of them that tend to, I'm going to pick on you for a minute, okay? Tend to think that you are more vulnerable and not as aware as you are, right? You don't understand, Grandpa. You don't know what I'm talking about. Let me just get your checkbook and I'll pay those bills for you. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good?
Yeah.
All right,
Good idea.
I promise. All right?
Yeah.
So good. Just why don't you give it to me and I'll do it for you.
I'm not sure I can find it.
I'll help you. Let's go look.
Okay.
Okay, because I'm worried about you just paying bills and overpaying and stuff.
Oh.
So, all right, so
All
can
right.
do that for you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I just got his checkbook. All I do is ask him.
What did you say to him?
I said, I want your checkbook. I said, I don't think you can do this anymore. I don't think you're capable. He didn't argue with me. He said, oh, okay. Now, he just got out of the hospital. His arms are in slings. I need to write the checks. When his arms are not in the slings, he gets his checkbook back. Maybe. So this relative was not going to empty his checkbook or be bad. She really was a nice person. But we don't always know that. Okay. So who gets close to you? Who has information about you? Who all of a sudden is more in your life than they used to be? Now, I'm not saying to be suspicious of everybody you know, but if all of a sudden, I'm going to use the story I used before. Everybody have a telephone? Okay. Does your phone ever ring in the middle of the night? No. When it does ring in the middle of the night, what happens to you? You think somebody died? Somebody's in trouble, right? I don't know about you all. I take a little sleep aid. So if I'm answering the phone, I'm not really all that conscious. I'm asleep. And it is, let's say on the end of that phone is, what's your name? Ingard. Hi, Ingard. And Ingard, I'm in Wyoming. I want to come see you for your birthday.
But I don't have a birthday, not yet.
Oh, but it's going to be soon, and I'm coming home now. Here's what I need, though. You want to see me. You haven't seen me in a long time, right?
Okay.
All right. You're sleeping. Remember sleeping. You're sleeping. I need $200. I have a flat tire. I'm in the middle of Arizona. Can you Venmo me that money, Venmo me that money, or send it, please?
Sorry, I don't have $100.
Okay, but then you have 50. I need to get my tire changed. How am I going to get home to see you? Right. Okay, fine, good. You all are way too good for me. You've been primed. I will tell you that 9 times out of 10, that's not what happens. Okay? We love these people. We care about these people. If they're calling us in the middle of the night, it must be real. Here's what I want you to think about. If they need the money at 2 o'clock in the morning to get their tire fixed, first of all, I want to know where that 24-hour all-night tire place is, because I don't know any that are open 24 hours. And the second is, if they need it at midnight, they will still need it at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. When you have time to come to your awakeness and think about I don't have a nephew in Wyoming, right? I don't know cousin Matilda. She knows me. She called me by name. She counted on the fact that I'm a little groggy. I'm not knowing what's going on. I love my family. I will do anything for my family. I got your money.
I got a call from my grandson one time. So did I.
From her grandson?
I knew it wasn't him because he called me, "Hi, Grandma." My grandson always called me Grammy, but I'm listening, and I'm listening, and he's in trouble, he's in jail, and he needs $200. And I said, what have you been doing? He said, I was drinking beer, Grammy. Grandma, and I knew it was my grandson, because he has never had a beer in his life, ever. And at this day, at 36, he still hasn't had one. And so, well, he's an athlete.
Okay, I'm good with that.
And so I said, you know what? You're not my grandson, Betty, and I hung up.
Good for you. Good for you. But exactly, he was working it. How he got your name, how he knew your grandma, they're good. And what happened to you?
I had the same thing happen. Called me, said he was, said Grandma, and he was calling from Las Vegas, and he was in trouble. He didn't have any money, And I knew it wasn't him because my grandson doesn't go to Las Vegas. But I just knew that it wasn't him. And I just hung up, you know, there was no point in carrying on a conversation.
We can't hear a word.
She had a phone call from her somebody who thought grandson, but it wasn't really her grandson. It was somebody pretending, and they pretend until they find somebody that's vulnerable, that like is asleep and goes, okay.
We had a friend that believed that and sent her grandson $10,000. And the people at the bank didn't catch it when they got that kind of money out for her because the girl that was waiting on her didn't really know her. And then he wanted more, so she went back and someone at the bank knew this lady and got right on it. And said, got
for sure.
the bottom of it right there. And did not do it and then got the other guy in trouble because of what he had done.
So it happens all over. Okay, so that's one. But the other one that happens more often is people, our friends, our family, our coworkers, people that we know, tend to take advantage of our niceness. And I just want to talk about that for a minute because most of you are of the same age as me. We grew up wanting to be nice, right? We take care of people, we are kind to people, we don't want to hurt their feelings. We always, to an extent, some of us are not so nice. Some of us are not so nice, okay? But we thought we should be at one time in our life. We were nice. We don't want someone to call us a name. We don't want someone want us to cuss at us. We don't want somebody to think that we're mean, right? So our niceness disease has gotten us into a little bit of trouble because our first inclination is to say yes, right? I have a neighbor. She always comes over to use my oven. Her oven doesn't work. Maintenance has come 1,000,000 times. Her oven doesn't work. I'm getting ready to cook my own turkey dinner, or a cake, or something, or take a bath. I don't know what it is. We've never said no to this neighbor. And we are consistently inconvenienced by her. So instead what we do is make excuses. I'm not home. Hi, I'm not home, which doesn't work very well because they know we are. Not answer the door. Avoid them. Don't answer. But we really like this woman, this man, this friend. We just don't like the fact they keep coming over to use our oven. So the question is, have we ever had a conversation that says, I like you, I don't want you coming over every day to use my oven? I think we haven't, because we think that's mean. That's not mean. That's assertive, that's a boundary. If you were doing that to somebody and they were bugged, wouldn't you want to know? Would you want to know if one of your friends didn't want you touching them or in their apartment or going with them? Would you want to know that? Nod your heads yes or no. I'm hoping it's yes, okay? So how can we help the people we know treat us the way we want to be treated? We have to use our words. We have to be able to say, I don't like that. Please give me back my checkbook. Next time you go to get my meds, could you do it in the same month that I ask you to do it in? Right? So as we become more dependent and interdependent on other people, it is harder generally for us to ask for what we want. Has that ever happened to anybody? Some things that, it's not feeling great, nothing's, they're not hitting you or abusing you in that kind of way, but you're not feeling good about the treatment. But it's our family, it's our friend, it's our relative, it's our people that we know. What do? We have a conversation. We set a verbal boundary. We say, please don't do that. We are willing to have them say, what's the matter with you? Here's the answer is nothing. I just don't want you to use my oven. Susie, nothing. I just want you to be on time when you pick me up. Waiting an hour and a half is not okay anymore. Grandson Jimmy, I ask you to get the Triscuits, you never get the Triscuits. Please get the Triscuits. No, I don't need someone to help me take a bath. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're in the apartment, but you don't need to be in my bathroom. Or whatever that boundary is, we get to practice teaching people how we want to be treated. And they can't do it unless we tell them. They don't know. Does that make sense to people? Yeah? It's a little uncomfortable. It's a little like, oh, I have a friend, I have a relative, I have something, I have somebody that I realize I have not set a good boundary with. Or I didn't know that it was bothering me until today. So in fairness, I believe that we want to give our friends, relatives, people we live with, people we know, an opportunity to not bother us, to not be a jerk, to not invade our boundaries, take our privacy. So how are we going to do that? We got to tell them. We just got to tell them. Please don't. I don't like it.
Julie, I'm reminded of a situation with a client that I saw. He's in his 50s and his mother is older and moving into a stage of needing more care. And the client, the 50-year-old son, was describing a situation where his cousin was calling his mother and asking for money and asking to do tasks around the house and just sort of like inserting himself a little more into her life. And I noticed even for that 50-year-old grown son, setting that boundary was challenging. So, you know, we strategized some ways where the family together could talk to the cousin and say, hey, my son is doing a great job of helping me. Thank you for the offer. And maybe they even considered maybe blocking that number for a little while to cut down on the number of calls, because if the verbal boundary didn't work, then they were strategizing other ways to set that boundary.
Absolutely. And what gets in our way of doing that? We don't want to hurt someone's feelings. We don't want them to think we're not nice. And in college, we don't want to lose our friends, because if we say no, we will never have another friend, which we all know is not true, right? But it's not. That doesn't happen. If people are treating us in a way we don't want to be treated, we get to give them a chance to do it differently. So I'm going to give them another chance until I have to avoid them altogether. And then we lose friends because we don't know what to do. So we get to practice just saying what we want. And every single one of you are allowed your emotional and physical safety. If you have friends that make you uncomfortable, if you have somebody at the bank that doesn't treat you with respect, if you're at the grocery store and they ignore you, it happens to me because they can't see me. And I really have working on my strategies to, like, seriously, I get skipped in line all the time. I'm like, wait, I'm here. Okay? Now, I'm not going to lose any sleep. No one's going to hurt me about that. But if that happens to me 10 or 12 times a day, I go home with a headache. So I want to be a person too, right? So everybody has that opportunity. And the other thing that gets in our way, particularly if it's a family member that we've maybe allowed in, is we get embarrassed. We feel embarrassed. Don't do that. Okay. We feel embarrassed that that's happened. Do you have a question? Whenever you want it to be.
Well, we do have a situation.
Okay, you have a situation. That's fine. How about 3 more minutes? Can we do that? Thank you. So we get embarrassed. Or as we were famous, I was stupid. I shouldn't have done this. I should have known. I shouldn't have let them in. I shouldn't have done this. When you hear yourself say that, ask yourself, wait a minute. How can I make sure it doesn't happen again? What do I need to do differently? What do I need to say? Who needs to help me? Where are my resources? So that next time, they don't bring me my Triscuits. I have another choice. And I've said something. The more dependent we get on people, the harder it is to do so. So the invitation is to practice. You can practice in your house. You can practice in your mirror. I want everyone to be able to stand up all together now. One more time. Everybody stand up. So we're going to try one more thing because there's a really powerful word that we have not used yet today. Okay? So everybody stand up, and I want you to go back into your stop signs. You're 1 foot in front of the other, right? And these are just spaghetti hands. These are just really soft. They're not like this, right? They're just like this. Okay? I want you to stand up as straight as you possibly can. I want you to look at somebody across the circle from you. Put on your I am serious face, and on the count of 3, we're going to say no. 1, 2, 3. No! Let's do that again. One more time, a little louder, like you mean it, so that the people will come running from the mountains. 1, 2, 3. No! Good job. Give yourselves a hand. You can sit down. And those of you who have other things and places to go, feel free. I have handouts that I will put back there. You can pick them up one at a time. Will you put them back there, please? They're just some more safety things to think about, to read, to have some precautions. And if anybody has specific things they want to talk about, I'm here if you want to.
Yes.
So thank you very much. I hope you learned something, or at least thought about something a little bit differently if you didn't learn it, and brought your awareness back to the fact that you are entitled to your safety. And you are allowed to say no to other people, no matter who they are. Bottom line, that's really important to remember. Okay? So thank you very much.